Okay, right. We are here. It is March 3rd. Is that what it is? Is it March 3rd or March 2nd today? March 3rd. Yeah, I never know what day it is. March 3rd. And I want to share with you. I'm so excited. I'm bouncing off the walls because yesterday was a day of personal private mentoring for me that was phenomenal. Started at about 1:30 my time with Jenna Zwagil. And Jenna reached out to me a few weeks back out of the clear blue, actually, and said, she wanted to get to know me. She wanted to see how she could help our team and so forth. So we set up originally it was a 30-minute timer, but it turned out we were about 45 minutes, almost an hour. And we chatted and talked about a number of different things. And I went from there about, I don't know, not even an hour later, after I got off of that, maybe 20 minutes later, and met with Robert Hollis. And we spent about an hour, maybe an hour and a half together, and just picking his brain and, asking him questions and so forth. So, first thing that we did was we just kind of talked. She wanted to know my story. We talked about a lot of different things and that and so forth. And then I asked her this question, and I encourage you to remember this question, write this question down. If you are able to or are in a position where you can talk to another leader and you want to really pick their brain, and I'll give credit where credit's due because I had heard him say this before, but I reached out to Robert and said, "What do I ask Jenna? What question?" And he said, "This is what he told me: ask her what question what question would you love a person to ask you that they don't when you're doing a private mentoring with them? So, what is that question that you really wish people would ask you, but they never seem to ask when you're mentoring them?" So, I asked Jenna that. I said, "Hey, this is what is that question?" And she said, "The question that is simple. What is it that I'm doing or not doing to move my business forward? What is it that I'm just not doing right now that I need to be doing to move my business forward?" And so I said, "Okay, that's the question I'm asking you." And so she went through and she said, first thing she said was, "Well, let's go check your profile." And so she went and she asked me if I was building our business on social media on Facebook, and I said yes. And so she said, "Okay, let's go look at your Facebook profile and see what's going on." And she was very very gracious, and told me what things were great. You have your about. You have, you're a man of God, you're a father, you're a grandfather, you're a dad, you're a pilot, you like dogs, Newfoundlands, and so forth, right? And I'm gonna, because we were going to do a Zoom, we couldn't, so I couldn't record it. So I had to take notes because we talked on the phone. Okay, so um, she said, "You're doing great. I love your lives. Da 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 da. You're out there. You need to be congruent. Okay, so you need to have that about sections put together, and then your posts need to be congruent with that. You need to be consistent with the two things together. So if it says, "Hey, I believe in God," and you're putting atheist post on, there's an incongruency there, and you're going to lose a lot of people, right? So my next question was, well, how often should I post? Because I tend to post maybe 2 or 3 times a day and things like that. And she said, "You know what? There are days that I don't post at all, but I would never post more than 2 times a day. I leave about 12 hours." And she said the reason behind that is because if you're posting a lot, they start running up people's news feeds and they never get to see, what you're doing. Okay. Um, Here's the other couple of things that she said that were really, really important. Be intentional about your posts. Now we've heard that before, that live your life be intentional, but be intentional. And that made sense to me because if I come back to I'm only going to post once a day, maybe twice a day, I've got the time to sit down and craft a good post. And she talked about and making them mini stories. And the example she gave was maybe take a picture of your bed And the story is, a year ago, I was hardly unable to get out of my bed. I didn't want to get up in the morning. I had no energy. I had so much pain and so forth going on that I just was unable to get out of my bed and do what I wanted to do. And now all of a sudden, because I found this company, I found these products, I'm up every day at the crack of dawn. I'm spending time with my family. I'm able to do the things I couldn't do before when I was stuck to the bed. Basically you're taking just an everyday picture and crafting that intentionally into a story, right? So, and I've gone out to her profile, and I know she's got a lot of pictures about the family, and she had a lot of things that were either family related, and then mixed in every so often about the business, right? But there wasn't the things that I'd been told, or alive, right? And there wasn't the things that I had been told for so many months and years and so forth, that you've got to be putting quotes up there, and you've got to be doing this, and you've got to be doing that, and everything. I didn't see that. I saw people, recognition of people. I saw family photos of her and Josh and Zoe and the kids, but they all seem to have these little mini stories with them. And then every once in a while, I'd see a post that was, some little saying, or I don't know, topic or something, right? And she also said, that the biggest mistake that most network marketers are doing with their business side of things is they're talking all about the features of that. It is cold press CO2 processing. It's within 4 hours or 4 minutes, whatever. It's processed so there's no mold, and it's at U.S. farms, and on and on and on and on, certified, and all these things, right? Instead of talking about the benefits. I don't really know how this is produced. I don't know. I know we got certifications and all this. I know it's pure and all that. But here's what I do know: I get a good night's sleep every night that I take it. The benefits and that's what those benefits. And she was talking about how those benefits draw out the emotional connection with your audience, right? So she also said you need to be more serious about your brand. And that's not about branding me essentially in the sense of, oh no, we're back to attraction marketing, brand yourself and everything, because you need to let people know what you're doing. One of the things she said about my profile, she says, it's great, man. I see your links here so people can go. She said so many times people hide themselves and don't put out there what they are and what they're doing and what the company is and everything else. And they're missing the point. You've got to do that. But she said you've got to be serious and, again, intentional about building who you are, right? So people start equating MDC and network marketing with Ron Deering, or with Heidi Walker, or with Laura Freeland, Stacey George, Carlos Martinez, Lily, Dawn, whoever, right? So that was always a position of mine, or a passion of mine, is to get to that household name. And that household name is, wow, whenever I think of network marketing, whenever I think of My Daily Choice, I think of Ron Deering, or I think of this team, or I think of, not this team, but this person or that person, right? Okay. So then I said, well, the other thing she said is, she asked me how many people, and this was very, very powerful. How many people do you have friends? And I said, I'm closing. I hover right at 5,000, right at the max. She goes, I'm only at about 3,000, 3,200 or whatever, in the 3,000s. I said, oh, wow. She goes, and I've gotten rid of a lot of people. And she told me this story, how she used to be a very, very negative person, an atheist, and these things. And she's told the story before, but, and she used to promote this stuff. And she promoted something on Twitter and got tens and hundreds of thousands of retweets, and from authors, atheist authors, and all kinds of stuff. And she posted the same thing on Facebook and got 2 likes. And it was kind of an epiphany for her, because all of a sudden she realized that it's not what you say, it's what you say to the audience you have. So if you have an audience of Christians and people that love God, or that have a religion and aren't atheists, and you make an atheist statement, it's not going to go over well. and it didn't. So she got rid of that profile altogether. She realized I'm trying to build network marketing. I'm trying to build a community and a culture and everything. And I've got all kinds of negative stuff and, things that are depressing and all this stuff. So she said, I'm going to get rid of this profile. I'm going to start again. And when she started off the next profile, she went in to these groups like Eric Worre, Network Marketing Pro, Ray Higdon, Robert Hollis, Jeff Roberti, all of these people that were network marketing influencers, and started to follow and friend request. Now, I asked her, did you just go out and friend request a bunch of people? And she said, no. I would go out and connect with those people and look. And if they were people that, she used the phrase, I don't think I wrote it down, but it was, if I felt like I wanted to reach out to you, and she said, I'm not a drinker, but sit down and have a beer with you and chat, then I would do a friend request. Otherwise, I would just start following them, right? And we've heard this taught over and over and over again, building these connections. And she said within a month or so, she went from 0 to, a couple of thousand people that now were an audience that made sense to what she was doing. And she said there was a lot of people out there that she did not friend request. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what Robert talked about that, because if you're using Facebook as your vehicle, your medium to build your business, then we need to make sure that that's the people, that's the audience, that's the target, that's the avatar that we have on there, right? And not worry about, are people's feelings going to be hurt because they're not my friend on Facebook. So she said that her whole goal was to build this connection with these network marketing influencers, because those are the people that you don't have to, worry about, do they know network marketing? Do they love network marketing? Do they want to be a part of network marketing? Or are there people that have never done network marketing before, and you're going to have to hold their hand and take them through all of it and all the things and all the downfalls that you went through. It's much easier if you get someone that's already gone through all that. And then she says you always have to be furthering those relationships along the path, right? You're getting you're deepening that connection, building that relationship, getting them to take a tour, getting them to go from taking a tour to either an affiliate or a customer, and then taking them from there to building a team and growing and becoming rank advanced. And so you're always moving, you're always furthering those relationships, you're always moving them along. They don't get stagnant. You're always moving those along, right? Those become huge, powerful people on your team. And understanding that every crop and every seed that you plant grows and matures and harvests at a different time. That's just the law of the land, right? I grew up on a farm, and we used to have a ton of crops. An acre just of corn, different corn, Silver Queen corn, and this corn and that corn and everything. And then we had another acre. It was just a assortment of vegetables, anywhere from beans to peas to squash to pumpkins to just you name it. We had it on there, but they all were harvested at different times. Now, you might have had a couple that were at the same time, but the pumpkins and the watermelons and the vine plants, they harvest at one time. The pole plants, the pole beans, and the peas, what do they call those? The snow peas and all those things, they harvested at another time. The corn harvested at another time, and so forth. Well, your relationships and your people that you're working with are the same way. They're all going to mature at a different time and harvest at a different time. You just need to, just like Heidi says, you need to nurture these relationships and continue to always be furthering them along the path. Okay. One of the things she talked about was, what do you do on a daily basis? And she's actually going to do a training on that, on the weekly training. Her and Josh are going to talk about DMO and all that. So I'm not going to go into that. But she said, what you should be doing if you are in which a lot of people right now, myself included, are in a kind of a down slump, and I don't want to call it even a slump. It's just a downturn of business, and it's about ready to actually to this first couple of days already. It's further along than I was last month, totally. But she said you need to get back to the basics, back to that phase one, back to and we keep hearing this, right? You need to get back to your list. And what's your list? Your list is, if you're working on social media, your Facebook friends. And you need to be always pruning and weeding that list, bringing on those people that are in the avatar, the audience, and so forth. So when she was looking at mine, she was saying, you should be talking to pilots, you should be talking to professional network marketers, people that love dogs, and all these things, and connecting with those people. And you'd be surprised. You would be surprised how the conversations come around to, what do you do? I help average everyday people change their lives around financially and physically and health wise and so forth. Is that something you might be interested in? Whatever your line is, right? Okay. So that was kind of, we talked about a number of other things, and some of the road shows coming up and all that stuff. And there's going to be, some things I'm not going to talk about, but she mentioned a lot of things about, there's a lot of new products coming out this year. There's a lot of things. So there are those people that build from product launch to product launch. And you're going to see that that's kind of what happened when CBD came out. CBD is no less popular and no less powerful than it was when it came out back when we started promoting it in 2017 and 2018. It's just a lot more well known now because of the media that's helping us out, and then all the other companies that wanted to get on the bandwagon. We're still the number one by far. I think the closest one to us did like 23 million, and we did over 100 million in CBD sales. But the reality is that a lot of people got their claim to fame because it was easy back then. Oh, CBD. You got CBD? Oh yeah, I'll jump on board, right? Now all of a sudden it's not like that anymore. So now you've got to grow those skills and start really making, like Robert talks about all the time, building those connections. Okay? So the faster you build those connections, the better you get at those connections, the more that you sit down and have that, daily method of operation that says, hey, from this time to this time, I am going to do nothing but profit producing activities, which is making connections and getting in front of more new people. Okay. So that was kind of a majority of what Jenna and I went through. Okay. And I encourage you to remember that question, right? What question would what is the question that you wish people would ask you if they had the chance to mentor you one-on-one? Because I know there are some people that are gonna, that are going to be able to be, maybe get some one-on-one time with Robert, or maybe even with Aaron and some others in that. Ask them that question. What is the question you wish people would ask, but they never do? Now, for her, it was, what am I not doing that I should be doing to move my business forward? And be ready if that's the question. When I said that, when she said that, I thought, I got to be ready to take that criticism and what I'm not doing and I should be doing. And so today, starting this, and she said, this week, you need to go through your friends list and everything and start weeding them out and getting rid of some and so forth. So then I went from there on with Robert. And, Robert is one of the main leaders in the company that's continually growing each month. When everybody else is going down, he's continually growing. He's got a huge European group now that's growing, and so forth. So, I said, what is it that you do? What do I need to really look at here? And he said, well, the first thing he and I had already talked about before this, which prompted this meeting, was you need to stay focused. You need to stay laser focused. He said, what happens is there's 20,000 people out there training. And, we get, and I may say names, but I don't want you to think that I'm saying them because they're bad or anything. It's just, these are people that are training, like Todd Falcone, right? And Tony Robbins and Aaron Parker and Robert Hollis and Josh and Jenna and the Butlers and Barb Miller and all of these different people and people throughout the industry, right? Ray Higdon, Eric Worre, all of these different trainings. Well, here's what happens when you're always promoting all of this stuff. Is everybody's distracted and they're spending all of their time at all of these trainings. Train, and they never move forward and never go anywhere. Because they're always distracted. Well, should I be doing what they say? Should I be doing? Oh, what about this? What about that? And you probably remember me making a comment not long ago about I'm changing everything up. I'm recommending 2 trainings a week. today's training, which is every Tuesday, right, from the company, and Robert's training on Saturday. If you want to do other training, that's fine, but don't ask me, okay, what was that training about? Do you remember what and I'm going to stop pushing anybody else's training. And because I believe that it causes distractions. People are like, oh, I gotta go look at that. I gotta go watch this training. I gotta go watch that training. Now you can pick whoever you want. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying you've got to pick Josh and Jenna and you got to pick Robert. Maybe that's not what you want. You want to go with someone else. It doesn't matter who, but you've got to stay focused on what you're doing. You've got to stop letting the shiny ball syndrome or the shiny object syndrome or the squirrel syndrome, whatever you want to call it, distract not only you, but your team, because you know what happens? Your team watches you. So if your team sees that you've just, hey, so-and-so's having a training, go watch this. This leader's having a training, go watch this. This leader's having a training. They're going to get distracted because they're going to follow what you say. Doesn't mean that training's not good. No, anything like that has nothing to do with that. Exactly, Heidi. Distracted, confused people do nothing. And the reason he was telling me that, and he says, I can prove this to you, is because I see this going on and my European people in Hungary and Italy and so forth, he said, they reached out to said, what do we do? And he said, you go to the training on Tuesday. And if you want to come to my Saturday training, that's fine, but you concentrate on going to the training every week on Tuesday. The rest of the time you build your business. Now, you're always working on personal growth. That's a different thing, right? I've got my Alexa back there. Alexa's always got an audiobook right now. I'm going through the science of getting rich again and so forth, whatever it might be, right? You're always doing that. But you don't want to get distracted, okay? And then we talked about Facebook again. And he said, one of the things that you find out there is people they're in the witness protection. And he told me the story again, and we've all heard the story about how Terry asked him, what business I want to have a business on my own. What company should I go with? And she said, and he told her, he said, don't. Let me digress a little bit. Here's the story I want to tell you that he told me that I thought was phenomenal. Hypothetical, okay. Hypothetical, your company just went under. And please, NBC is nowhere near. They're totally debt free. They're not going under. They're not having bankruptcy issues. They're not having any of those things, right? This is a hypothetical. I don't care. You're in company ABC, or as Ray Higney says, you're in Grapety Grape, right? And you just found out Grapety Grape is going under, and you got to find a new company. And you want to go out. You're going to go out, and you're going to start looking for a leader in a company. Your choice is, if maybe the first couple of leaders you find are people that have multiple streams of income. They're in the company that you're looking at, but they've got all 3 or 4 different, 5 or 6, 11 different streams of income coming in. And he was telling me that somebody asked us in a group, and the question was, would you go with that leader? Not one person said yes. Everybody said no. They're not focused. They've got too many things going on. They're just going to plug me into something over here and let me go, and there's not going to be any support and anything like that. Okay. The next question was, would you go if you found you heard about somebody, you went out to their profile, and you couldn't find what company they were in, you couldn't find if they were having any success, you couldn't find them promoting anybody else, or there was anybody that was rank advancing on their profile page, everything else, would you go with them? And again, resounding no. And then the last one was, you go out to somebody's profile, you see immediately who they are as a person. You see that they're, rank advancement after rank advancement, people moving up the line, people having success with them on their team. There's a link there for you to go check things out and see what's going on and everything. And that was a resounding yes. So it makes you think about your profile. Who are you? The people that are new to network marketing, have never had success in network marketing and everything else. So they're going to fall for that traction marketing thing where you don't tell anybody what you're doing, you don't show anything, you don't let anybody know that you're having, these, you give value of what, I don't know what that means if that's not the value you're giving. And hopefully it's what we call hopeful marketing, wishful marketing, right? And hopefully they'll reach out to you. What Robert did, and who wants to recruit Robert or Jenna, right? What Robert did was he went out, he found Jenna. They weren't friends. A number of people mentioned her. He went out to her profile and saw all these people having success underneath her that she was helping have success. And that secured it for him. And there were links there where he could go and look at the company and look at what was going on and find out all the ins and outs he needed from the person he was looking at. And what you'll find is that the top network marketers out there, they will go to a person's profile and they don't want to hunt, figure it out, go through all this detective work just to find out. They want to know exactly what they're doing, who's having success, what's going on. So don't hide what you do and what success you're having. Okay. The other thing he said is that really, we get this question all the time. I'm just kind of watching the time here too. Motivate your people. How do you want to, he said this was probably one of the number 2 or 3 question he gets on a regular basis. How do I motivate my people? He said, you motivate your people by consistently being out there, rank advancing other people on your team. You want to motivate your people? This month, bring in a couple of new people and help them get to 5K each. I guarantee it will blow up your team. Robert's having so much success in Europe is because he's working with people, helping them, bring in a couple of people and get those people rank advanced and get those people making money as fast as possible. We were talking about how it's what do you train them on first, right? What do you train them on first? And some people say, well, you train them on the back office, you train them on this. Hold on just a second. You go through all these things, you make sure they do this, set up that, and everything else. He said, you know what? Here's what I do. And I love this because this is in our getting started. The first thing that we do is we are doing it's a video on learning your tools. He said the first thing I do is I take them in their back office. I do a Zoom with them. I take them in their back office. I go to your websites. I show them the links. Here's the links and everything. Here's what you want to do. You want to go out, talk to people, see if they're interested. If they're interested, you want to give them this link. We pick a link, boom, there you go. Later on, I'm going to talk to them about, getting their pay set up and making sure their placements and, all of that stuff and everything else. But I want to get them making money as quickly as possible. Nothing else matters. And I know we've got all these steps, do this, do that. He said, I don't tag them. I don't do ATM. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I don't do any of these things. All I do, show them what links they need to use, give them resources so they can go and watch the videos and everything else. But he said, I tell them first things first. Here's the link. You need to go out, reach out to some people, some friends, some family, and see if they're open to taking a look. Don't spam them or anything like that. And here's the link you use, and let's get some people pre-enrolled. And he said he was amazed at how many people, and he says, I'm always amazed when, within a day or so, I've already got people reach out. Hey, I've got pre-enrollees. I've got people looking at or upgrading and on and on and on. He's personally sponsored well over 800 people. Right? So these are important things that we need to understand. And we hear this all the time, keep the main thing. Don't, keep it simple. Don't complicate things. Don't add all these things. Don't, put all these frills and all this other stuff on it. You want to motivate your people? Help them make money and get rank advanced. You don't need any of the stuff that's going on, right? If the company's got a promotion, let the company have a promotion. If there are people out there that motivates them, I've just never seen that be very successful. You know what I've seen, and I'm gonna, and this, I don't know, may hurt some people's feelings. I don't know, but Light a fire in the basement, right? Set yourself on fire and see how many people come to watch, right? I love that, Troy. Light a fire in the basement. But one of my favorite sayings is set yourself on fire and see how many people come to watch you burn, right? So you start getting people. I can tell you over the last 40 years, the things that, you want to increase your volume. The biggest things that increase people's volumes, first off, is getting new people in and getting them, having success and getting customers. But when it comes to like, all these contests going on and all that other stuff, look back over the last year and see when you've had the most volume increase in your team. It's always been when there have been product sales and product giveaways and things like that where everybody can take advantage of it. Buy one, get one free. Boom. Everybody takes advantage of it. All the volume goes up. I forget what it was, like Pot Monday or whatever, the 20th. That was huge, right? There's all of these things when they're doing things like that I look forward to. A product launch, boom, everybody buys it. I made 25K the last day on the airplane flying home of the convention because they had announced the coffee, the creamers, and all of these things, and people were just pounding out orders, right? Those are the things that really push the volume, along with you getting out there and getting people in and getting them making money as fast as you can. Keep it in as simple as possible. Now, and Robert and I talked about a ton of things, and I'm going to have to watch the video again to go over all of it. But the gist of it was, you know, uh, you figure out what everybody else is doing, you do exactly the opposite. Everybody else is out there doing giveaways and doing all this stuff and everything else, and you can look at the numbers. It's not necessarily helping, and the same people seem to win all the time and all that, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing or anything else. If you want to do that, everything. But it's not duplicatable. People are sitting back going, "Well, oh no, what do I do? I can't afford to do that." It's just not duplicatable. It's not duplicatable. But doing a Zoom with somebody, so you can get a free Zoom account. You can be on it for 45 minutes. Doing a Zoom with somebody, setting them down, taking them to the site and saying, here, go to websites, and here's the website you're going to use, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to reach out and see if you, to your Facebook friends, your friends and family, see if anybody's who's open to taking a look at what you're doing. And then go from there. Yeah, have a launch your business and do all those things. But let's get them started. Boom, right now. And Jenna she said, man, you've got to get that list. You've got to make sure you've got a list. Your list is your Facebook. You've got to, she said, even write these people down on Facebook and so forth. But you're always working that list. You're always growing that list. You're always moving that list forward along the journey. Now, these are two top multi-millionaire leaders that, for me, I want to take advice, and I want to be coachable. I want to take my learning. I want to take my mentorship from these two people, and Josh, of course, obviously. So I hope this is giving you some insight to go back, look at your profile, see what you've got out there. That and there's something. Laura's a good example. Freeland, man, she's got so many posts out there about the dogs and the puppies, and people love that stuff. Now just turn that into how the benefit of you being able to do that because you have a home business, or turn that into a story, right? A mini story, but be intentional about your post. And the other thing that Robert said, and I'll leave you with this, is don't be afraid to unfriend people. It's Facebook. It's not your life. Just because I'm not a friend with someone on Facebook doesn't mean they're not my friend anymore or my family. I was driven by that. I thought, oh no, what are they going to think? I'm not. I don't know why that is. What is it about Facebook? We think that we have to be, oh no, it's my cousin. We're not friends on Facebook. So what? Does that mean you can't call him? You can't text him? You can't email him? You can't go see him and everything? No, it has nothing to do with that. Facebook is what the tool you're using to build your business. So it should be all about the people on there being, connections and relationships based on you building your business. Doesn't mean, if I unfriend somebody because, hey, you know what, we're friends already, and you're in your own business, you're doing what you're doing and everything else. I need to make space for those people that may be interested in building connections with to build my business. Doesn't mean I'm still not your friend. Has nothing to do with that. It doesn't mean I'm not family anymore just because we're not friends on Facebook. Are you kidding me? But I thought that too. So don't think that way. If you're using Facebook, and it was like the two of them talked to each other because Jenna had said the same thing. If you're building your business using Facebook, then use Facebook as a business building tool. And remember that just because you're not friends with somebody on Facebook doesn't mean you're not friends with them. It's two different things. Two different things. Okay. So God bless you. I hope this has helped you. Listen to it again, share it out. I don't care who hears it and sees it and everything, but being able to have that, and her and I've got some other things planned. I'm just amazed and honored that, we're connecting, and we had a great time, and we've got another meeting coming up this month. And it's just when you find mentors like that, like Josh and Jenna and Robert and that, and you get everything you can from them. I'm going to be 68 this year, and I don't know nothing. Even though I've been doing this 40 years, I'm a clean slate. I'm starting from scratch because I want to be a 500K, a super affiliate. And I want to do that because I want to help all of you get to the goals you want. That's how it works, right? I can have anything and everything in life I want if I help enough other people get what they want. So God bless you all. I can't wait to see you at the convention and at the road shows. God bless you. Just I love you.